Hello, folks, and welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Duchess of Essex.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here with us today. And today we're going to do part 2, where the Duchess of Essex rates my top 10 men's fragrances, and we're going to find the ultimate winner. The winner of the last thing was the Dior Eau Sauvage. That was in the other top 5. This is the other half. Before we get into that, don't forget that if you're looking to buy fragrance samples, my recommended UK-based fragrance sampling site is Fragrance Samples UK. I've got a code for you. Mr. Smelly 10 gets you 10% off across their amazing range of designer and niche fragrances. My recommended USA-based fragrance sampling site is the Fragrance Decant Boutique. That's decantboutique.com. That same code, Mr. Smelly 10, also works there across a huge range of amazing fragrances, both linked in the description. Okay, so last time we did 5 fragrances. You picked out Eau Sauvage from Dior as
yes,
your favourite.
my winner.
Yes, and we got 5 that were in another video. There was a top 10, and we'll pick the ultimate winner for what it's worth, okay? You know, it's not scientific. She hasn't tested them on my skin for 3 weeks each. They're just on a bit of paper. One other little thing, though, we are enjoying a delightful, crisp white wine today, and we've been very kindly sent some wines from nakedwines.com, okay? And they're going to be linked in the description. In fact, I've got a special Mr. Smelly link for you, and I have a code for you for Naked Wines. The code SMELLY30 gets you a 30% discount off from this UK-based wine supplier, and they have a really interesting range of wines. I'm no wine expert. The Duchess of Essex knows a bit more about it than me, but it's been really nice, and we've got a really beautiful one that they've sent us. This is called Small and Small Sylvia Reserve. It's from New Zealand, and Marlborough.
It's a Marlborough. It's fantastic.
Thing, right?
It's a Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay, and we both really like this one. It's a perfect crisp summer wine. What was your impression on this one?
First, actually, when I took my first sip, I went, "Oh, that's a little bit too sweet for me." And then I took another sip, and I was like, oh my God, this stuff is the best. And I could taste a very crisp, dry, fruity, a gooseberry type flavour.
Gooseberries I mentioned, I think, we did look at the online review. So it's really fruity and bright, isn't it?
It's
crisp.
It's a really good Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc.
I really enjoy it too. And I picked up on a floral bouquet on the nose in the opening. I guess I'm more about the nose than the taste, but well, I like the taste too. It's really, really nice. So check out Naked Wines, as I say, linked down there. They're a really good service from what I've seen so far, and they do things a little bit differently. They cut out the middleman, I think, and at first impressions, the prices, because we compared their price to where we saw it elsewhere online, looks like really, really great deals that you get with your wines, and it's delivered straight to your door. And who doesn't like to have a box of wine delivered to their door? It's a great feeling. So check out Naked Wines. Okay, enough of that. But let's just quickly have a quick swig and say cheers to everyone at home.
Cheers.
Let us know if you'd like to see us do more videos, what kind of other subjects you'd like us to cover, live streams and stuff. Let's get into the actual fragrance stuff, because I guess that's what a lot of you are here for. So, a quick Keith Floyd-esque slurp there. Okay, we've got 5 of them. We're going to go with probably the most expensive one, Roger Parfum Scandal. Roger Scandal. I really like this one. Designated an aromatic fougere. Very refined, very expensive fragrance. And we've got it on a tester strip here. Duchess of Essex. What are your thoughts?
I like that. It's a very refined gentleman's. It's not. I would say it was for an older man rather than a younger man. It's quite distinguished. I like that, and I am going to rate that an 8.
Okay.
Because I like that. That's very nice. It's really, really classy.
All right. But you didn't pick out, obviously, that it smells this way or lemony or notes. But sometimes when something's really well blended...
Sorry, I didn't.
And normal people don't. Normal people don't pick, oh, I can smell the bergamot, the lavender. It just smells good, right? And,
it just smells good, yeah. Yeah.
That's fine. That's completely
fine. I'm a normal
fine.
person. I'm not a fragcom person, Dan.
That's debatable.
I didn't come like that.
Okay.
I didn't come...
Yes, no, absolutely. Next up, we got my vintage. I had high hopes for this, Monsieur de Givenchy, the vintage formula here, and we were talking about this as she's been smelling them for a few minutes, and over to you, Duchess of Essex.
This is the one MDG.
Yes.
Oh, that's the one I didn't like.
Yeah, it's that end. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Why don't you like it? Come on, be honest. Go for it.
It smells like, for the UK viewers, Zoflora, which is a disinfectant in the UK. It smells like lavender. It smells... I just really don't like it.
What's the other word that you've written on there? Say it.
Mothballs. I wrote it smells of mothballs.
One of my all-time favourites, a great citrusy leaning chypre fragrance
I
from
don't like
1959.
it. I'm sorry.
Hubert Givenchy, I'm sorry. You didn't deserve this. But hey, it's all about opinions.
I don't like that at all. I'm going to give that a 5. Probably actually a 4.5 because it's really quite to me. To me, we've all got different, noses.
That is the whole point of this exercise. Okay, next up we've got Next up we have vintage Koros. Now,
see, I love
your
I am
predilection
a fan.
on this one. Okay?
I already am a fan because
this is the Paris of the Ritz formula. If you're a real geek, you know this is the really sought after kind of first way that they made it back into the early to mid 80s. But surprisingly, perhaps, because people say, oh, it's too old school, it's dated,
I could actually walk around with that on my nostril. I just love it so much because it just reminds me of the 1980s and all the, the guys wore it, the classy, sexy guys, the young, sexy guys in the nightclubs wore it. And it just takes me back to that. So I am a bit of a... I love it. And I am going to give that a 9 because I want to challenge that against the Eau Sauvage.
Okay, which also got a 9.
It got a 9 as well. I love that.
All right, so
I'm gonna go head to head with the Eau Sauvage.
Do remember that, of course, in its day, this was the hot release of the 80s. This was the Dior Sauvage or the Creed Aventus of its time, and it's only now that we think, oh, it's old fashioned and a powerhouse and it's too overpowering. A lot of people bought this and wore it back in the 80s.
Everyone wore it in the 80s.
Yeah, well, we're both old enough to remember the 80s, but that's another matter. Okay, now we've got another vintage classic for you. Of course, you can get the modern formula of Yves Saint Laurent's Koros 2, and it won't smell quite as potent, but it'll be in the ballpark. Rive Gauche Pour Homme, sadly discontinued, regarded as a barbershop fragrance, lavender and a kind of shaving foam aroma with this one. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on that one.
I love Rive Gauche for ladies. It's one of my favourites. It reminds me of my 80s. Is this discontinued?
This one is now. This is Rive Gauche Pour Homme. It came out in 2003, a long time after. They don't smell in any way similar, but they just tied in with got the traction of the name. But this is the man's version.
Okay.
Completely
unconnected. I prefer the ladies' one.
Ah.
It reminds me, of my mother and, all the mums. And I will say that you probably should have put Koros last because that's sort of taken over my nostril a little bit, and it's potent. Mm-hmm. So I can't really have a massive smell from that. But this is a classic, and it is very, very classy, and it is a very, very it takes me back to the 80s, and obviously I'm showing my age here. But
well, the smell is a 2003 release.
But is it?
But
that's still 21 years ago, Dan.
No, it's a 2003 release, but the smell does have that 80s barbershop. So it's a kind of smell that was more prevalent in the 70s and 80s. So it was a retro style fragrance. So you're right. You're totally right. Yeah.
But I don't remember the sexy men wearing that in the 80s. They all wore Koros and Jazz.
Jazz by Yves Saint Laurent.
They did. They all wore Koros or Jazz.
Let us know if you'd like me to review that one. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so that's got
I've given that a 7.5.
All right, so it's not going to win, but it's good. Okay, this one is Green Irish Tweed, and that is, of course, from the legendary House of Creed. Great composition from 1985 from the legendary Pierre Bourdon. Funnily enough, the same perfumer who did Koros. Interesting, a fun fact there.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely love this, and it's very gentlemanlike. It's very distinguished. Mm-hmm. This is your classy guy's fragrance. It's fresh. It's woody, and it smells kind of like a cut grass kind of flavour.
That's very commonly what people say. Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm sorry, I'm going to give that one a 9 as well. So we're going to have a three-way.
A three-way. Well, there's a first time for anything. Okay, all my dreams come true in one go. So we're going to do Green Irish Tweed versus Eau Sauvage versus the other one that got a 9, which was Koros. Okay, let's go for it.
Okay.
So obviously, it's a little bit arbitrary. You clearly like them all. Let's go Koros first.
Koros last.
Okay, Koros last. So if we go back to Eau Sauvage, which won the last showdown, if you like, then you don't have to say yes or no. You just do all three.
I'm going to say that's not in the... It's not going to win. It's not going to win.
Ooh.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But it's not going to win today.
Eau Sauvage won't win. So it's down to Green Irish Tweed versus Koros. So let's revisit the GIT, as we call it.
Really hard one for
Green
me.
Irish Tweed.
I feel really pressured here.
It doesn't matter.
Because they're both so...
You can call it a tie. You can share the trophy.
Okay, I want to call it a tie, but I want to have my say about them. What's just so different?
The floor is yours.
Okay, so this is for your classy gentleman.
Sorry, yep.
Not Dan. And I want chorus. Now. There's no competition here.
What?
Sorry.
Chorus wins.
We have a winner.
In sexiness.
We have a sexy one.
Does it stir animal impulses?
No.
Okay.
It just reminds me of, growing up in that era.
Okay.
And the rich men wore that, and you were like, you sniffed them out, and they all wore it, and it was kind of like, yeah. I just love it.
All right.
It's just...
Who knew? I didn't expect that. The winner from my top 10 is Koros, vintage Koros, and the modern formula is in the ballpark. Thank you so much for watching us. Don't forget to go and check out Naked Wines. We're going to enjoy the rest of this delightful Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc by Small and Small Sylvia Reserve, and the link is down there, and use my code SMELLY30. Thank you for joining us. See you in the next video. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project, and although sometimes life can stink, at least if we wear Koros, we can always smell good. Bye-bye.
Bye.